Okay? So, Pat Buchanan wrote a book on it, Death of the West. It's a mathematical fact. Japan's got 1.2. Italy's got 1.2. So for two people, they have on average 1.2. And then I get idiotic emails every time going, how does a person have 0.2? It's in averages. Averages. Don't build straw men to deny what I'm saying, people out there. On average, baby boomers, from 1946 on, the baby boomer generation, people born from the late 40s up until about 1960 or so, the baby boomer generation, people coming home from war, coming home from death. Every culture has a boom after a big war. It's genetic survival mechanism. That's what the globalists are up against, by the way. They're trying to turn off our survival mechanisms, survival instincts with eugenics, teach us to hate ourselves through fake environmentalism. Look, humans are in control of themselves to a certain level, but not to at base levels of survival and procreation. You're going to be defeated in New World Order. No amount of hormones in the food and water are going to turn that off. But side issue, baby boomers' populations explode. Okay? Now they have on average 1.3 children. Lower in some areas of Europe and Japan, as I just mentioned. They can't now pay for the old people or take care of them. So what happens? What did the globalists say they do in the 40s? They saw all this beforehand. They said, we'll teach people to euthanize. First, it'll be your right to euthanize and kill yourself. And I don't really know who can disagree with that. I'm not for it. I'm not saying it's moral or it's good, but you're in incredible pain. You're sick of it, whatever. Nobody can stop you. But see, the state wants to be involved to turn you off and then make their decision, and that's now going on. And I've documented with Wall Street Journal writer Wesley Smith and others over the years, thousands of people on record who were paralyzed neck down begging to live, but because the state was their ward, they're dehydrated. But that's never the poster person that the media chooses to sell this. They'll choose a Terry Schiavo, the media will, because you could debate whether she's brain dead or not. But Terry Winlin, others, he could walk. He could bowl. He was in his butt, but he was brain damaged. And the state had him, and they chained his butt down and killed him deader than a hammer. I mean, look up these names. Look up these people. Every time I cover this and open the phones up, I can open the phones up for 2 hours with nurses calling, saying right now in our hospital, there's people chained down being dehydrated. They're murdering people all over the world right now. Okay? So all you yuppies that don't want to have kids, don't want to get married, think you're having fun right now, well, they're already announcing you're not going to get eye surgery under government health care. You're going to get a cane. You're not going to get knee surgery. They admit that's how it is in England. So when she says Pelosi's full of baloney, I'm going to break it more down on the other side.
Hello, I'm Alex Jones.
Myself. All right, getting back into Nancy Pelosi and her statements about we got to have more abortion, we got to reduce population, it'll save money. That's a predatory implosion economy. That's a cannibalistic economy. That's a win-lose economy, not a win-win. And the fact that the West is dying and doesn't have enough people to take care of their parents, to pay into the Social Security system, that's the reason, not only because the bankers have stolen all the money to begin with, but that's the reason you're being euthanized, is because your money that you've put in your pensions is to be stolen through inflation, through taxes, and through outright seizure. I mean, they announced last week they're raiding what's left of the federal pension funds and putting IOUs in it. The money's gone. And when you do get it, it's going to be in inflated garbage. It's not going to be worth 1/10 of what it was supposed to be. But they'll do it over a decade so most people don't notice it. People don't notice creeping death, creeping corruption. They notice a frontal assault. I've told the story of, personally in my life and seeing in other people's lives, people will get violently angry if you walk across their yard or if your dog goes to the bathroom in their yard. We had neighbors, when we moved because of it, would come over and say, your cat's going to the bathroom in our yard. And we'd say, we don't have a cat. And the old woman said, I know about you and your TV show. I know your cat's doing it. And I knew right then she was a mentally ill servant of evil. And I could have, so we don't have a cat shut up, but I could tell she was going to start making stuff up and really getting evil. I know when to hold them, know when to fold them, because the other stuff she was saying. So I just looked at her and I said, where is it? Anytime it happens, I'll clean it up. And went over in there little piles under some bushes where some cat was burying it. And my wife said, that's crazy. And I said, look, put the house up for sale right now. They don't want us here. They're going to make stuff up. Well, let's go, let's stand up against them. Let's sue them. And I'm like, no, let's just move. Can you imagine being this kind of person? Let's just get out of here. I don't want to be close to it. And now I'm out in the country. And, I got a neighbor firing machine guns every day, and sometimes I hear them ricocheting around and stuff. But that's the price of freedom, because I can't live so far out in the middle, that there's nobody around me. I don't have the money to buy some Ponderosa. But quite frankly, it's the sound of freedom. It sounds like the neighbor has artillery simulators going off some days, though. But then I found out they're filming a reality TV show next door, so I guess that's what's going on. The point is that I'm digressing off into stories, as I always do. But look at this story. Holder, no cover-up in Fast and Furious, no effort to hide details of the operation. And Bill Clinton didn't have sex with that woman, Monica Lewinsky, and read my lips, no new taxes, and there are WMDs and anthrax in Iraq and all the rest of it. Fox News is reporting Attorney General Eric Holder vigorously denied a cover-up by the Justice Department. He's been caught perjuring himself, by the way. Operation Fast and Furious, telling a House panel investigating the botched, it wasn't botched, it was designed to ship guns in to blame the Second Amendment. Gun-running program that he had nothing to hide, and suggesting the probe is a political effort to embarrass the administration. But see, the globalists have News Corps in England with all their hacking and spying criminality. So Fox News dare not go for the juggler on Obama. After all, Rupert Murdoch gave money to Hillary Clinton and Obama. It's all just part of a staged left-right deal. There's no attempt of any kind of cover-up, Holder told lawmakers well into the hearing about whether he had been forthright in responding to requests of the House Oversight and Government Relations Committee for now a year, led by Chairman Darrell Issa, Republican of California. We're not going to be hiding behind any kind of privileges or anything, he said. Yeah, they're not claiming executive privilege. They're just saying we can't find all these documents. Folks, I've been telling the controlled prostitute media for over a year now. They were having press conferences in 2009 and 2010. This broke in early 2011 about guns into Mexico from the U.S., and that's why they wanted to ban semi-autos and assault rifles and how many guns you could sell. They were already doing fake stings at the Austin gun show with illegals, with fake IDs, with private sellers and sending them to jail. We told you this was happening before it was on the news because of our intel. And there were press conferences with Holder talking about the program, but not saying that they were the ones shipping the guns. So they've been caught lying. So has Mr. Napolitano. I mean, Madam Napolitano. Miss, Madam, Mr. We'll be right back.
We're on the march.
Monday through Friday, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Time. We are here live, back Sundays 4 to 6. All right, here's what I want to do. I do want to take some calls this segment. On any of the news items I've mentioned, any of the things I've gotten into, I'm going to cover a few more here in a moment. But what do you think about the story? And it's the top big link on drudgereport.com. It's from Infowars.com, another Paul Joseph Watson article. TSA trains Super Bowl hot dog sellers to spot terrorist. Viper search team to be out in force before Sunday's game. Let me go over a little bit of this for you. And she's going to be on the Jumbotron saying, don't trust your neighbors, only trust us that make money off the naked body scanners. They're going to grope every one of the poor idiots that goes in there. It's all part of your slave training. The TSA is now setting up checkpoints outside the airport, on the roads coming in the parking lots. This giant power grab. Despite acknowledging there are no credible or specific threats to the safety of the 2012 Super Bowl Indianapolis on Sunday, the TSA is training thousands of fast food sellers, it's all part of the Stasi society, to spot terrorists under the First Observer program. They've got the The pastors trained to spy on you under clergy response teams. Executives trained to spy under InfraGard. And it's incredible. I mean, I just paid somebody for like the 20th, 50th, I don't know, upteenth time I've bought books from them. And because the check was more than $10,000, they said they're going to hold it for weeks and have opened a big investigation. I mean, this is how America works. And they said, well, I need that money. I printed the books and sent them to them. And they tell them, sorry, Homeland Security, Patriot Act. And you go rent a car. Every time I go rent a car. Hi, where are you going? I'm here just going to San Francisco. What are you here doing? And, of course, you're in line hearing them ask the same question everybody in front of you. It takes 10 times longer. And just to play along, I'm like, okay, well, I'm with the media. I'm actually going to Santa Cruz. This is when I flew a year and a half ago out to visit some affiliates and give a speech. Oh, really? You're media? What kind of media? I thought you were going to San Francisco. Well, yeah, I'm going to San Francisco first. Oh, and I go, listen, I know you think you're real smart and you're a little blonde and you're a little dress and you're a little secret agent that fantasizes about stuff when you watch cop shows on TV. This is Patriot Act compliance, Homeland Security, and you're putting in a database everywhere I'm going and doing, and you're trying to assess me. Listen, I just want to rent the stinking car. You know full well it says History Channel paid for it. You know full well who I am already. And she goes, oh, but I do see the History Channel on their credit card, but I'm going to have yours too. And, of course, then she didn't charge them, charged me, and it got all snafu, and I ended up having to pay for the Suburban. But side issue, she showed me. And then she goes, is this your address? And I'd moved. And I just said, yeah, that's the address on my license. She goes, but this is your real address. And I said, just enjoy the police state. And I said, and drink lots of bisphenol A. I mean, again, little twinkly-eyed, just like Nazis. They all get off on it. They all get off on the enforcement. It's so sick, and I know exactly where it goes. Meanwhile, the underwear bombers put on the plane by the U.S. government on record. We broke that with eyewitnesses a month and a half before it was admitted in Congress. The Times Square bomber was protected by the government. Major Hassan was protected by the government. Look this up. They've declared national security, the Fort Hood shooter. The shoe bomber was protected by the government. This is SWAT guy, MI6, ran with patsies they set up as part of a drill, the 7/7 London bombings. That's come out Fox News, London Telegraph, BBC, years after I told you. It's all in my film Terror Storm. History government-sponsored terror. Al-Qaeda's been given Libya. Al-Qaeda's been given control now of areas of Egypt and the Muslim Brotherhood. They're now using Al-Qaeda, and the LA Times admits it, against Assad and the Syrians in a major Western proxy war to overthrow that, and now Hillary's saying invade. They're using them against Iran. And the point is that Al-Qaeda was created by the New World Order. They were used against the Serbs to take over Kosovo. They were used against the Russians, and Brzezinski's written 2 books, Zbigniew Brzezinski, bragging about it. And I've shown you the quotes. And so it's obnoxious when a cop pulls me over and says, you got any drugs or anything in the car? I'm like, no, I don't have the products publicly brought in and admitted in 6 different congressional commissions by the U.S. government. And it's the same thing when some power-tripping control freak wants to rub all over my chest and grab my genitals at the airport because Al-Qaeda, it's baloney. It's a hoax, and I can't take it anymore.